there's so much, especially when you're in this self-growth, when you're in your glow, just opportunities coming to you, and maybe some that are 100% a yes, but you also know deep down this is not for you. So something I always say is this in alignment with your passion? If it is not, then just say no.
I really have to slow it down and breathe and be like, nope, what I have is today and I have right now. Tomorrow is not promised or guaranteed, but today is right now. How do I want to show up as myself in this moment? Hi, my name is Reet German, and welcome today to Reignite with Reet podcast. I'm sitting here with Elisabeth Dirksen, a beautiful woman from Kelowna, BC, Canada. She is a mother, an entrepreneur, a woman having a beautiful, soulful experience. Today, I get to share some of her journey along the way and her inspiring story. So let's connect. Let's get this podcast reignited. Hi, Elizabeth. How are you?
So good. Thank you for having me, Reed. I love the title of Let's Get Reignited.
So, I'm going to start off by asking you to share a little bit of your background, how you got to where you are today. Feel free to just be open with whatever comes to you and share. And remember, it's about, just being yourself.
Sure. Yeah, so I started my journey of like now or never. I need to choose not just myself, not take my power back, not just take back my self-care, but really think for the future of my son, the safety of my son, and the happiness for the both of us. And that was in 2019 when I left a relationship that was no longer serving us. It was boundaries crossed that shouldn't happen to any woman. I took matters in my own hands of like, okay, I'm going to take 2 weeks and I'll be out of the house. But the universe really helps you out when you reignite for your own self. Happened so that in 2 days I did find a transitional home. So even though it was really challenging, it was all that I knew. I did chose the life for Maximilian and I, which is he's my son.
How old was Maximilian?
Yeah, he was 5. Yeah. And it was very much of like, oh my gosh, I did this to myself, all the guilt of like, okay, I did this to myself. I need to figure out how to get myself out of there. And this comes to the like, if any woman listening to this, if you're in some kind of dark spot that you think you're in dark, do not hide. Reach out for support. Share somebody that you're hurting, that you're going through something. Because if I could turn back the clock, that is something that I would do is I would tell my family sooner. So there was one moment where I sat down and I finally asked, like the first time in my life, what does Elisabeth truly want?
Mm.
And my dream was, I was then living in Edmonton. My dream was then moving to Kelowna. Ever since I set eyes on this city, it was like, wow, it's too far out of my league to live in such a beautiful city. And sure enough, I plastered a 8.5 and 11 sheet over my vision board that said June 2020. I will be in Kelowna, and I just believed and I hustled and I did everything possible when it comes to self growth and relearning myself of what I want, what I need, and what my child needs as well. So that's kind of where the shift happened for me. It's like really of like, I need to get out of this. And the vision that I had was like the worst that can happen, but fueling that to my drive, which was there's no way I will end up under a bridge with my son. And for some reason, it was this vision that like made me chase, made me run, even though it was exhausting at times, 16-hour days of work, head in my laptop. But we're here, we made it now, and you have met us here. So you're welcome to our dream.
Oh, I was honored to meet you. So a little background. I met Elizabeth just shy of maybe 3 years ago, we decided to pack up our stuff, sell everything, and took a year around the world with our daughter. Right before we left Canada, we spent a month in Kelowna, BC at this beautiful resort Airbnb, and the link will be all in the show notes. So as Elizabeth has this amazing Airbnb available, and you got to check it out. So we actually met her son and her at this resort they live on. And she was just magic. She had this presence about you do, and you shine like you have it right now. You glow. You don't show your struggle, you show your inspiration. You share whatever you have. You're open to opportunities, conversations, and the way you mother, to me, that's what grabbed me, gravitated towards you. You are a hands-on mother with Maximilian. You're putting on the pads and you're playing hockey. You're taking shots on the net and he's taking shots on you. It's like a metaphor for life, right? You're in the water. You're up early doing yoga at sunrise because you need to pour into yourself so you can fill your cup with your mother cup. And it's just in the short amount of time. I saw that you were also investing in yourself. You had hired coaches and it was funny when you jump, the universe puts a net and just captivates you and hugs you and said, I got you. Just keep jumping.
Hmm.
So what happened was like you were doing all this work and what you don't realize is and I realize now, we have so much impact in such short time on people. You ignited something that short month that I lived in Kelowna. I just was like, this woman has something. And what is this something? So it created and ignited a conversation and question with myself on what kind of mom do I want to be? How do I want to show up for my kid? What's the relationship? What's my intentionality in all the things that I'm doing? What's my why? And what do I want to build? I saw you building your Airbnb business, your infinite bookkeeping business throughout the years. Um, and it just gravitated, and I stayed connected with you on social media. I saw your journey. And when you came to Hawaii, I you reached out and said, Hey, we're here. And I was like, let's connect. We had a quick dinner, but yet the kids got to play, watch a sunset. We had shared a meal, and we were experiencing life. It wasn't happening to us, it was all happening for us. And if you asked me 3 years ago on what would I be doing right now, we'd be connecting, what are we building? I didn't know. I don't know. None of us know. All I knew was I was planting seeds. I plant seeds in my relationships. I talk to the universe and say, these are the kind of women I want to surround with. They inspire me. These are the women I know I have within me. I already am this amazing woman, and I want to keep growing on this path. So I want to bring it back to you. I want to, how was this journey of motherhood? Choosing to leave a relationship. And this was right before COVID, from what I can see from your timeline. So what
Yeah.
happened? Share a little bit about you left, you moved to Kelowna, and it's pretty much COVID hits.
Hmm. Exactly. I the moment COVID hit, Reed, I really became into this power mindset shift of I've already done this. I have an advantage. And when I
Mm,
say this is I have been a stay-at-home mom. I have been somebody of you can't do this, you can't do that. So I know how to now shift through this and still make the best out of it. So when Maximilian was born, I was told we are not allowed any visitors for 40 days. So I adopted that belief, even though with inside of me, I hated it. I wanted family over, I wanted friends over, and I just wanted the celebratory of, man, I've just gifted life to this beautiful human. And that was taken away from me. And now when COVID hit, I immediately took that parallel to this pandemic. And I was like, well, that's not going to do anything on us. We're still going to have the best time possible. And even though I was going through that shift of moving out of that relationship, there was this fire in me of like, I saw people who were hurting. I saw how people, they were like, oh, I don't want to just stay at home. And so reaching out to them and becoming creative of like, you know what, it is our choice if we want to choose to believe in this, or how can we become creative to be more fun? I know there was one moment that I haven't even shared with anyone. It's like, I myself, I tried to escape Canada, my own legal country that I'm allowed to be in. And it was, I just got a friend that did have the identification to be able to cross the border, even though it was not just a passport that you need at a time. And I was like, if you can get me across the border, I'm flying to Mexico. And that's what I did in the pandemic thing. So it's knowing whatever you set yourself to in your mind, you can conquer absolutely anything. But to your question of like, how did I do with motherhood? My direct answer, honestly, Reed, is I just did. But it's all starting to hit me slowly now. Like hearing you speak how I was an inspiration to you, I didn't know I was an impact on you. And the way how, for example, I do my morning routine, yes, it is for my own well being, filling up my cup. But there too, I've received comments of like, wow, Elisabeth, you have a really good routine. Like you really maintain. And it's just like, really? Like I just do it for myself and I know it works for me. And their response were like, no, this is like beneficial for like a lot of people. I'm like, huh, like there's these subtle notices of like curating your space with certain frequencies of
Mhm.
sound, certain smells, and just what your soul is craving and just listening to that inner self. And that's how I've been doing with the parenting. I myself, I come from a family of 11. So having that one-on-one time with my parents was very rare. And I still always say to myself, if I am 1/11th as good as my mother, I am a good mother. You know, whenever guilt wants to creep in. And
Wow.
it's just taking it one day at a time, one request of like, Mama, can we go play hockey at a time? Because if I am to line them all up, yes, exhaustion would creep in. And it's like nearing burnout. But it's more looking at it, okay, now I get it. Like I was always a intense athlete back in high school. Like now I get it why I have a boy. It's like to teach him all the sports and to continue having fun with that passion.
Isn't it funny how you see the puzzle of your life come together, how everything prepared you for this moment? Isn't it
I know,
goosebumps?
it's
Like
crazy.
you hear there was times when you doubt yourself. You think imposter syndrome, like, oh my gosh, look around. But then you look at all the struggles, all your victories, all the times that you never gave up on yourself, the mindset work you invested in, the shifts you made, the healing that you do. And that's not done. Like it's not a one time, oh, I did it and I'm good, I'm fixed. It's every single day, like you said. You you do your morning routine for you. That's the game changer, right? When we intentionally wake up to do something because you know it's fulfillment and it's of service to you, that's my definition of self-love. And
Yes,
because then you can pour back into your son. I can pour back into my daughter or any relationship that we have in life, right? Because we can't pull,
yes.
like you said, you can only look at one hockey game at a time, one play date at a time. Because if we look too far out, I'm with you on that as a mom. And sometimes I've said to my daughter, I'm like, okay, one thing at a time. I can't think about six play dates because we have so many other things going on in our mind, businesses, a home, finances, investments, way the world is going, our future dreams. And I really have to slow it down and breathe and be like, nope, what I have is today and I have right now. Tomorrow is not promised or guaranteed, but today is right now. How do I want to show
Yeah.
up as myself in this moment? I love this conversation. Honestly, it's so rich, it's so nourishing, and that's why Reignite with Reed is here to birth conversations like this and to show
This is
women,
magical.
yeah, to show women invest in themselves, invest in the quality of their conversations, invest in friendships that light something up in you. And the same thing goes for the polarity. It's also an investment to say a healthy no, right? To to learn how to say a healthy no. This is not of service to me, or where it's not feeling aligned in my life. Is there is there times, how do you do that in your life? How do you
Beautiful
say no to
question.
things?
Beautiful question. And I'll actually start off with being in the mother role. It was very noticed yesterday. It was like, oh, typically Saturdays we go to the farmer's market or we plan something. We're on the go, go, go. And it's like, no, mama needs to listen to her body and really showing that the feminine gets to just be as well, especially when
Hmm.
you're, as a single mother, when you're taking on both roles, that you're not just in the role of mothering, but simultaneously you're teaching. You're teaching this beautiful human being to stay in his masculine role and observe how a woman needs her space and how he can assist to hold that space for her. So it's like this subtle response of, do you know what me time means? He's just 10 years old. And this is the time where I get to read as well. This is a time where I just listen to the birds. And as a mother, as a business owner, we're always like trying to hit every checkbox, every like nearing perfection. But even there, we can pull back. Like, I loved how yesterday we came back out of the hot tub and I was like, I get to go back into my pink pajamas, and just sit for a bit before we go to the soccer game. And it was beautiful. And then the noticing of like how quickly we're like, okay, but now I got to read. But then how we have a louder intuition that's like, no, no, just lean back for a second. Put your feet up. Can you bring him? Can you have him bring over a pillow maybe, and more comfort to your back, and really, bring in this subtle queen energy of you deserve
Mm,
everything you crave.
yes.
And then it's this observance between what was and what currently is and what was it for. So an example was like, oh my gosh, the cars are so loud. And it's just like, no, wait a minute. That was my past self thinking. What do I think of it now? It's just like, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful we have all these cars that get us from point A to point B. And then it's like the neighbor and his saw. It's like, oh my gosh, on a Saturday, everybody just wants to sleep in and maybe just have quiet time, right? It's just like, no, that was your past self. It's like, now, how do you see it? And it's just like, oh my gosh, he's curating his lawn, not just for himself, but for all of us to see.
It's reframing. It's reframing that narrative that in the past would have kept you stuck and took over and totally taken your day and your thoughts on a spiral. And now, isn't it beautiful to see yourself showing up and seeing your growth, seeing your evolution?
Yeah. So it's even to the thoughts, we can say no in the sense of like, oh, thanks for showing up, but move along. I choose this, right? So we started off with how we can say the no and set the boundaries with children, the thoughts itself. And when it comes to, there's so much, especially when you're in this self growth, when you're in your glow, you know, just opportunities coming to you, and maybe some that are 100% a yes, but you also know deep down this is not for you. So something I always say is this in alignment with your passion? If it is not, then just say no. And sometimes a no can just be no without explanation. It can be a no but we'll regroup.
Mhm.
I'm not there yet, but there is that constant need of over explaining from a lot of people. So even my employees, my staff, when they answer me with something I see that they want to say no to, I take a moment as well because they're over explaining. I allow them to finish, but then I will also ask, instead of having said this entire paragraph of why you cannot do it or why you do not want to do it, what is it within you that just didn't allow you to say no?
Mm.
And this is very empowering because you're allowing your team and your staff to understand you, that you're not just here to cut them a paycheck. You're here to listen. You're here to understand them, and you're here to support them with your growth. Because look, if they can't show up within your business and say no to something here, they will have troublesome in all areas of their life as well. So if we can support them, not just with their role, but help with saying simple things like no,
Oh,
it's just
I
going to
love
add
this.
back to the business as well.
I
And
love
I will
that.
tell you what, my growth journey began when I first Googled. I said, how can I say no? That's where my growth journey started. It was just before I went to a Tony Robbins Date with Destiny. And I couldn't say no to anything. People will come to me and ask for money. I would give even though I wouldn't want to. People would ask me to do something. I would stop everything and just serve Reed from an empty cup. And I just felt absolutely drained.
How many women do that? Say yes from an empty cup.
Yeah. And it's this a lot of it comes from the guilt of the societal of you're a mother and you must, because you're the, I always say, the engine of the family. It's just like, well, that engine too deserves rest. That engine too deserves, the self-care, the maintenance, so that we can keep going.
It's funny, I say we're the mothers of the CEOs of the family. And it's it's so true. We can do a whole episode in the future on how to say no. Literally, that can go on.
Yeah.
And I just want to kind of rewind a minute, and I felt called to share because I think it's important for women to share when somebody inspired or ignited something. And nobody will know until you put it out there. And you never know the impact it's going to have on them. So I'm sharing with you the impact you had on me to get this podcast started. You posted on Instagram. Does anybody have a podcast that they would like me as a guest? This podcast was a mere idea, a name, and I was refusing to pull the trigger. You ignited me to say, hi. I messaged you as soon as I took that as an answer from the universe. And I said, hey, Elizabeth, I have a podcast coming up. I'm launching. Would you like to be a guest? You were the first person I asked, followed by 10 other women. And the ripple effect, it was like a snowball turned into like this huge boulder, and now it's just happening faster than I can imagine. And all it took was saying a yes to yourself and no to everything else that's kind of clouding in your minds and all those narratives and those thoughts that are old, the old you. You can't do this. Oh, how are you going to even figure this out? All I said was, step forward and ask. If you don't ask, you don't get. That's what my mama told me. In life, if you don't ask, you don't get. And so you saying yes, I was like, oh, this is happening. So now I got to figure it out. So I want to say thank you. Thank you. Like seriously, you're creating an impact bigger than you know. Beyond being a mom, which is one of the most largest roles we'll ever have, creating life and creating these humans. And I'm can truly say I'm so proud of you for raising Maximilian with empowering, teaching him to respect the divine feminine, also step into his masculine. But we all have that. We're both all humans, men and women. We both have masculine and feminine. And as a woman, I've realized I've been operating so much out of my masculine. It was having a huge impact on my health, wellness, relationships. And the last 3 years have been my journey back to my divine feminine, softening. And that doesn't mean giving your power away. It doesn't mean like, oh, I talk like this and I'm going to make myself smaller. It's the contrary. When we become
Mhm.
fully embodied in our divine feminine, we can hold space, lift the men around us, empower them, not intimidate them, it's not an inferior or not even equality. We just step into ourselves and realize we play our own roles in this universe. So I wanted to say that because it was important on my heart. And I also want to pivot to, you mentioned how you show up for your employees in your business. And I want to kind of highlight that side of you. You as an entrepreneur, you're a single mom, but that's one label that we carry. But you're an entrepreneur, a woman building something, inspiring, lifting employees up. Tell me a little bit more about how Infinite Bookkeeping started, where and what was the necessity that created this amazing creation.
So I've always worked in the finance industry. That kind of just landed on my lap. Um, I did want to be a waitress, but um, my partner then, he wasn't a fan of it. And so I ended up in a receptionist role for an oil and gas company. And 3 days later, they're like, hey, do you want to come help out the finance department? We need a receivables person. And honestly, Reed, I didn't know what a drive on a computer was. So I was a very quick learner and I learned on the go. And when I was pregnant with Maximilian, my mind started spinning of like, wow, I don't know a single woman that has had her baby in Canada and is not on mat leave. Well, during the pregnancy, I was helping my then partner build his dreams. And so I didn't have a steady income. And so I wasn't qualified for mat leave. We did make it work at the end of the day. Turns out somebody was looking for a bookkeeper. And Maximilian was around 7, 8 months at the time. And I was called into the meeting and it was a boardroom full of paperwork. And they're like, Elisabeth, we need you to take care of this. And I'm like, done. So they hired me as an employee at the time. It was 20 minutes from my place. So every day I packed 2 lunches, packed my 8 months old baby, packed the playpen, the stroller. You know how it is, Reed.
Oh yeah.
And I went to the office, I set it up, put my baby in the playpen, turned on a TV, spread out the toys, and I went and worked on that pile of papers. I quickly got them caught up, and then I started to understand I'm like really good at this. And plus, I requested to like look into their previous year because I saw monies they didn't know they had. And so I went up to them and I requested, I'm like, hey, can I peek? I feel like I can get you a lot of money back. So it turns out there were incorrect filings and I got them $30,000 back from the CRA. And another month goes by. And so what I do with bookkeeping is a lot of times I'm not just a bookkeeper, but I also see the business strategies behind it. So if I see somewhere that you can run your business more efficiently or better and don't have to pay X amount for something that you don't need to pay, I will let you know. And so the next one was like, I can save you on this rental office at least $1,000 a month. And he goes, okay, how? I'm like, I don't see anybody here. You don't need this office space. Move me home. Literally the next day, the owner came, moved me home, and saved him $12,000 per year minimum. And so got really good at that. And I'm like, okay, I need to incorporate it. So I incorporated Infinite Bookkeeping. I remember driving one day from Edmonton to Calgary. It's a 3 hour, just literally straight drive. I'm like, what do I want to call this company? And then I was just like, infinite. It's like an infinite, like it just never ends. And so that's how Infinite Bookkeeping came about. And so then I posted ads on in Edmonton, it's called Kijiji, and I met owners in coffee shops. I would always wear a dark colored top. Not that it's happening to me now, but I was very nervous and it was just sweating. Like it was just, how am I doing this? I'm doing this from absolutely nothing. I know I'm very skillful, but like interviewing people at the coffee shops. And yeah, this was something that I like learned to overcome over time as well. And so yeah, one client after the next, I'm like, okay, gotta do this. And then a few years later, I started hiring employees. And you have to understand, Reed, over time, whatever I would do, I would also want to learn how to get better at it, or learn from somebody that's already done it. And so that's what I did. And anyone that's working at a laptop and that doesn't need like maybe a conversation like this or a specific sound, it's like while you're working, listen to a podcast like this. Like Jim Rohn, Earl Nightingale, the OG classics of motivational were, I always say, my uncles that were right next to me, guiding me of how to go and how to be and to tell me to keep going, you know? And it's just learning the way how you said, similar to this podcast, it's like learning from nothing and trusting the support that will come along the way. And I would hire a babysitter and realize I'm needing help with bookkeeping and she would help me with bookkeeping, or vice versa. Like there's been bookkeepers here that have 100% taken care of Maximilian while I ran out to see a client in a meeting. So it's just trusting on that support the best way you can as well. So that's how the business came about.
Wow. I love that. I love that you just kept growing, pouring into yourself. And while I think that's been an integral part in my growth, and I see you mirroring it. You're taking action as you're also learning at the same time. Your dream is literally happening in the present, and you're in the moment also dreaming a bigger dream and on the fly because you realize, wow, it's happening. My dream's coming true. So what does it mean to dream even bigger? Right?
Yeah.
Like you're learning and teaching yourself because you're like, whoa, once upon a time, this was my dream and it's happening. And you
Hmm.
have to pause for a second, appreciate, live in that moment and that energy. And then recently, it came to me and it's like, the universe is not on a budget. We can
Yes, I love
continue to blow up our dreams. Like there's no limitations. And, I think the thing that's important and that I've learned is when our dreams are based on service and helping others, it not only fulfills our internal soul goals, it grows our our value system, our our creativity, our inspiration, and it allows us to tap into parts of ourselves, our mind, body, soul connection that I truly feel only comes from serving. Right? I think if you look at any inspiration, any one of our uncles that we call, our mentors and coaches, from every one of them have said, service is the currency of the universe. Millionaires, billionaires, they give back more than we see, right? And that's what gets them growing and expanding. So I want to ask, how do you feel, like, how are you serving your employees and clients? And yes, I see that you've mentioned that you have definitely saved them money, created opportunities for them to, maybe give up their office space. But I see when I watch your business, like you said, to me, you're not a bookkeeping business. You're a expansion business. You're uh, an empowerment business because I see you doing that for yourself. And the ripple effect is always really, really great and immense, more than we know. how does that sit with you? How does that feel in your soul and your heart? Like, what's the vision for you and your business? Like presently going forward? It's a lot. That was a lot to unpack,
Yeah.
but please go where it takes you.
Yeah. I'll back it up a little bit of we've helped other bookkeeping firms grow their businesses from points where they just wanted to shut it down. They've had disconnects with offshore organizations to the point where I even ended up flying with Maximilian to the Philippines and coordinating, understanding culture and really understanding where each employee is at and connecting that back together. So it's definitely a fuse and understanding really what people within each role are passionate as well. But what the expansion of infinite bookkeeping is really on an energetic service. You know,
Mm.
if
Yep.
an owner comes to me, for example, and complains about their staff, let's do something like this. When you speak to me in business, I will see your finances. I will see your reports already before you've presented them to me. So most likely, if a client is complaining about staff, their payroll is going to be out of whack. And so it's really listening to the energy of how you are appreciating your business, how you are appreciating your staff, and what is it that your output is for your consumers, for your customers. And do you have the same effect in the back end as you do in the front end? Are you sitting with your staff, or do you have somebody that is a role model to them that keeps them inspired, motivated, or are you like, oh well, I've outsourced it to them, they should be doing it. So it's really finessing and fusing not just the systems in place, not just, you know, seeing what their resumes look like. It's understanding also their goals, their visions. And if you as the owner can support them with building their visions, that's the type of employees that you're looking for after all.
Mm.
Um, I think nowadays the bigger impact that we're having when it comes to infinite bookkeeping is I've I've implemented my abundance mindset program as a cross service. Nowadays, with this market, there's a lot of companies that are struggling,
Hmm.
that are not just struggling from a standpoint, maybe financially, or um, staff are not there where they're supposed to be. It's more on this energetic, like the universe is speaking to them, of like, are you sure this is still your passion? Were you the one that is meant to create this business up until here and now you're ready to hand it over? And so a lot of the time, entrepreneurs, they don't quite have this knowing or the trust of should they be listening this and who to hand this over to. Or they have this of like, they're doing so much. They're trying to get the systems in place. They're doing their best at holding the staff together. They're doing the best at attracting marketing leads and everything. But then I also like to ask, as an entrepreneur, who is holding space for you?
Mm.
And it's not just you going back to your partner at the end of the day and sharing everything that's going through you or what you went through in a day. No, this is almost like a delegated me time of that you get to sit with a mindset coach or somebody that is understanding in your industry and simultaneously understands the journey that you're going through. There's companies and owners out there that have taken over companies because they look good on finances, but deep down, they dread going there every day. And that's why I will sit across from them and ask, is this truly your passion?
Yeah.
And a lot of the times it's like, yeah, I was really excited. I came in here. Okay, good. But what was your reason that you came in here? Well, it was my dad's business. I want to carry on the legacy.
Mm.
And it's like, okay, how can we carry on the legacy? Not that you have to run the entire thing, but that you also have the support that you feel in alignment with it. So, really understanding from an energy attunement is where Infinite Bookkeeping's expansion is right now, Reed.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I picked up on, how many times sometimes entrepreneurs can be disconnected from their business. It becomes a program and they forget about the mission that sat on their heart. The reason they said yes, even if it was their dad's business, there was, maybe an expectation. There's a lot of things that are put on us, right? We carry forward and feel this obligation to do. And that can add on guilt and shame, and it'll bury a business because you'll bleed that into your finances, you'll bleed that into your employees, and it's so important. That's what I love about your program. You're a holistic, like, empowerment guide for bookkeepers and businesses, really. It's you come in and look at the whole culture, the whole ecosystem. And I think that's what we need to understand for entrepreneurs, right? It's not that they're just, you know, handing out paychecks, but they're human beings having an experience. But if they don't realize their why, or they kind of get disconnected from it and letting getting bogged down by all of these tasks and not delegating, it can really be the death of an amazing business. And I've seen it over and over as well, because how important it is to hire a coach, delegate the tasks that are not necessarily your strength. And I've learned it in my life, and I'm learning it every time, all the time. There's things we're really good at, there's things we have to do. And as we keep growing, the universe is like, you've learned this lesson, you've repeated this pattern. Are you ready to kind of get out of that loop and that rat race? Where can you ask for help? Where can you delegate and empower others to help you? Because I truly believe we rob an opportunities to other people to help us, because they fills their cup too, right? When we give hand something off, it's not a one-sided, it's a dual exchange. You offer them a gift of helping you, filling their cup of service, and you lighten your load by asking for help and saying, "Hey, I'm kind of struggling here." So I love that in your business. I think that's what keeps me tuned into you and seeing what you're doing, kind of keeping a pulse on your business, because it's inspiring. I may not be necessarily a bookkeeper, but you're you're beyond a book. That's a label. That's something you do as an offering. But what you're doing is you're empowering entrepreneurs like myself. I love that. So tell me, share a little bit about your dreams. What do you have going on? What do you got cooking behind the scenes? What do you see for yourself as an entrepreneur, but as Elisabeth Dirksen?
It's beautiful. As we sit here, my vision is, and this is one already, it's like, how many stages can you get on and treat them like you have 100 people in a room listening and you're inspiring them and believing in them. Sometimes really it takes for one person to tell you the world deserves to see you. I knew I had to hear those words. And for myself, like, that vision is, keep inspiring. I get to travel quite a bit. I definitely want to share my story, share the gifts that I am gifted with more people and in bigger rooms. But I'm beyond grateful the platforms that we have, like this podcast, the people that will be tuning in, and we have no idea. And it has such a beautiful impact, not just on the listener, but also on the communicators. It's the way how you shared earlier that I ignited something in you. I would have never had an idea had you not shared. And this is what makes it so beautiful. There might
Mm,
be listeners here that are like, okay, I have my impulse now. I'm going to go and create this. And so it's more, the big vision is, how many people can we impact? You
mm,
know, I started my social media journey a year ago around this time. And I was in this really high of my life of like, wow, I got myself out from debt, from rock bottom of a relationship. I got myself out of everything. It was all about me. And then the person who I shared that with, and they were kind of sharing on social media, a class, and I was learning about it. And they're like, yeah, Elisabeth, but how about so many more women, for example, that are in your place now? And read that like stabbed me. Like it hurt me so much that I was carrying this achievement of just me for the longest time. The retreat itself, it was like 3 nights and 4 days. I didn't even stay the last night because I just had this massive release that was coming through me. And I had a nanny in place for Maximilian and stuff. And I just knew I just needed to get home and just be with this realization of I am here to create even more and not just save Maximilian and I. And so I went home and I wrote down, and I'm pretty sure if I turn to those pages of my journal, you'll see like smeared ink because my tears were falling on them. But just for somebody to wake you up like that, of wherever you are, if you think you have all of it, you do not. Like, who do you think you are? Like, there's so many more people that need your help. And it is just by showing up, becoming more you, who you are meant to be. So that was a massive impact for me. And that is why I am doing this already. And the massive vision is just showing up on stages like guests, like for yourself, create more, get that book out there, right?
Yes.
and and it's always asking to whoever you speak to, how can I make their day better? And how can we leave lasting impressions that they start to believe in themselves as well?
Oh, that sits so beautifully. That landed so beautifully because we make it about ourselves and we are an important part of this universe. But when you zoom out and you look at the universe and how much of a speck, and not to make us insignificant, but how small our life is, but yet how impactful the ripple effect of our life is. And the universe created us, chose us to be in this time and space, to host children, raise, have relationships. The power of that is so much greater than us. And it will keep being greater than us past our lifetimes. It's realizing we have to step into our gifts and share them. Those gifts will be wasted if we don't get out of our own way, get out of the comfort zones of being like, I'm good. I got all, I'm good. I got my home. I got my car. My kid's good. And that's what really, I think, ignites me. As like you, I've had my struggles and I've come. And along that journey, there was always somebody lifting me up that was on the mountain.
Mm,
When I was down, there were women, men, people lifting me up. And I see very clearly. I have my own mountain. It's an ongoing mountain for the rest of our lives, all of us. But I feel like I have an opportunity to lift other women up by sharing their stories, sharing their gifts, and us collaborating together, because that's my mission to
yeah.
eliminate this culture of competition or comparison or lack and inspire women to say, oh my goodness, I can do this too. I want to just kind of like close off in these last few minutes of kind of encompassing all of your journey. And as you serve men, women, businesses, children, families, mothers, what can you share if you have, like, say, a top 3 things that have impacted your life, that got you going? Put one step foot in the other. Something you can, a woman that's kind of sitting in the back saying, I have no idea. I've been there being like, I can't do that. Overwhelms. It's taken over. It's crippling. We're stuck in fight or flight. What can you offer them? A little gift, a little nugget?
Well, first of all, Reed, I want to say thank you for having me. And for any listener here, if they reach out to me on Instagram with the word abundance, I do have a free 7-day work on abundance mindset that will help them transition out of, a stuck energy they're currently at. But for this moment itself, the 3 pointers I would say is, wherever you are, where do you want to be? And is there somebody that's like your heart or soul is all like, I know I can do that, but they're way out of my league. Eliminate the way out of my league and just hold that as similar to how you said, she could do it or he could do it, I can do it too. Just have them as your vision, as that inspiration. And from the opposite side, also have somebody of, they went through this, I can make it through too.
Mm.
And work with that throughout that journey. Treat it almost as an invisible friend. For me, because I came from a very religious, conservative background, I had to find something out of the Bible that it was okay to leave the father of my child.
Mm-hmm.
And about 2 months after I left, I came across a story from Hagar and Ismail. And I was angry. I was mad all this time being raised and going to churches and never heard the story of Hagar and Ismail. It blew my mind. The first story of single motherhood in the Bible was never told to me. But now my reflection on that is like, it was a gift to myself. I found it for myself, for my own healing. And it is what kept me going. So just to make it brief, she was the woman that got invited to Abraham and Sarah because they couldn't have any children. So she gave the birth to Ismail. But then later on, Sarah got jealous and she got expelled with her child. And they were just walking through the deserts and she kept listening to the voice of keep going, you're nearly there, till they reached the well with water. And it was like I was her. I will
Mm.
never forget when my friend drove us to Kelowna. I didn't know anybody here. It was COVID, the world was shut down. And I just trusted. And I remember my son, he sat in the back and he goes, Mama, are we almost home? And this nearly broke me because I had signed and purchased the home that I'm in now on paper. And all of a sudden, all this fear crept in of like, what if this is a scam? What if it didn't work out? What if they didn't move out? I only have X amount of dollars before I run out and can live in a hotel or something like this, right? And then I trusted the voice and it just said, keep going, keep
Mm.
going. And I answered back with my son of soon. And I just trusted in that. And we had a 3-night stay in a hotel and then I got the keys to my place. So I really offer the people that are listening, if you're stuck, have somebody that is the inspiration to you and have somebody that's gone through what you're going through. And then another one would be as well is if you are a traveler or use constant parallels in your life that have helped you or that is a help along the way. So Reed, you and I, we both love to travel and we know we always have that beginning walkthrough of, hey, if the airplane, anything actually happens, take the mask first on you and then you can help someone else.
Mm-hmm.
If this is one thing out of the 3 I can give to you is do yourself first. Take that moment in the morning and let it be light. Don't let it be forced of like, oh, I must go and do my yoga. Let it be light. If there's moments where you're like, no, I'm completely exhausted, listen to that as well. But do something that makes yourself feel good first. And you will have the constant pressure of people around you of like, do you want to come here? Let's do this. Let's do that. Can you do this for me? Learn to listen. Take a moment before you answer in those moments and learn to listen what your goddess self needs. And that
Mm.
could be a 2 p.m. bath in the daytime. And that is okay. You
Yep.
deserve to be the goddess of your life.
I love that. That is so true. A 2 p.m. bath in the afternoon. Hell yeah. Why not? Why not you, right? Why not? Why don't you get, oh, Elizabeth, I appreciate you, and I feel so grateful that you put that call to action out there. You put what you wanted next and you asked for it. And that call, I'm grateful that I got to answer it. And I gave you a platform and to propel both of us, to make it bigger than just the two of us, make it about the women, families, man, anybody out there that is looking for a sign to say yes to themselves. This is it. Everything in life requires some challenge, some sacrifice, some discipline, and commitment and consistency. Every day waking up and choosing yourself first. Every day showing up, even when you don't want to. And especially on the
Mhm.
days. We're shooting on a Sunday morning. There was morning moments where I'm just like, oh my goodness, this technology is not working. Thank you, Elizabeth, for being patient. You're sacrificing your time with your son to show up here. But we got it. We made it happen. We persevered an extra 15 minutes. And that's what we do for others when we hold space. And thank you for doing that for me. Thank you for offering that for me to, for allowing me to serve you and you to serve me. And we need more of that in this world. And I'm grateful to be humbled and learning from you. And I just, please keep shining your light, sharing your journey, inspiring and helping others. And we will definitely share all your information in the show notes, your website, your Instagram handle, and definitely check Elisabeth Dirksen out. And she offers a free 7-day abundance course. I'm excited because that may be the step in the right direction because I know that's how I started. Many times a free challenge for 5 days a week. That got me to the next level. It got me to another week. It got me to clarity on taking what step number two was going to be. So
Mhm.
please, it's if it calls to you, I think I'm grateful for you to create this space. I wish you nothing but a lifetime of long lasting happiness, abundance in all areas of your life. You and Maximilian. Can't wait to run into you in another part of the world, make some magic. And I can't wait to come and visit
Yeah.
Kelowna because it will always have a safe space in my heart. So thank you for being
Yes.
on
Safe
Reignite
space
with
in your
Reach.
heart and a safe space here.
Yes, I love you so much. Until next time, have a beautiful, beautiful day and keep creating abundance. You're a beautiful soul. Keep sharing. And I appreciate you so much.